What's up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to go into. I did a Royal Rumble video, and I wanted to go into just basically my final update. Not much has changed. What I will say is the two picks that I went with was Brock Lesnar. You can see he's getting 33-1, and the other pick was actually Logan Paul, who's getting 80-1. So both of those odds, we can afford to pick a third person and still profit. And for that, I am going to say I am putting for each of them. I did a half unit. I'm going to put a unit on The Rock. The odds did move a little against him, but what I like is how big of a favorite Cody is. I could be wrong, but as a wrestling fan, a lifelong wrestling fan, I think the whole setup here is Cody's redemption, right? And wrestling, especially with AEW, with them throwing curveballs a lot, WWE's been doing that. So you're not getting your typical winner that sets up the obvious match. Now, The Rock, I said a while back, The Rock would never return to wrestling. And I said he burned his bridge. If you don't know what I mean by that, it was basically comments he made that would not make Vince McMahon happy. Vince McMahon is basically one of Trump's best friends. So, just from a business aspect, I said, but I also said as long as Vince is in charge, The Rock will never be back. So, he's still kind of there, but with different people doing the booking and decision-making, I'm open to the fact he might return. Also, I'm being honest, The Rock really he doesn't care about the business. You'll see Austin return. Austin could return whenever he wanted for money, but he always returns when it's the right thing to do. You know, Rock, he's always returned to plug a movie, or, you know, in this case, he's going to return to put his cousin over. So that's why I think The Rock is definitely going to have, of all years, this would be the year, because he's going to put Roman Reigns over at WrestleMania. It's as simple as that. He's not returning to wrestle full time. But my point is, I do like The Rock a lot. So I like a unit on The Rock. And if you do that with a half unit on Brock and a half on Logan, I think it just covers all sectors. We have two guys, like the return guy. Brock's kind of the obvious guy, but, it's kind of too obvious. So that's probably why he's not getting great odds. But we'll see what happens. I know people don't want to see Brock versus Roman again, but don't forget, draws are draws. Also, they like breaking records, and right now they're tied with The Rock and Austin. So a lot could happen. But The Rock reigns. If he wants to put over his cousin, he'll return. And the fact of the matter is, he'll get paid $10 million, probably $20 million just to do it. Floyd Mayweather got paid $40 million just to have a 5-minute match at the Big Show. So Rock's going to get paid a lot of money just to do this. So I just don't think Cody wins. I think Cody's the Iron Man. I think Cody is the one who comes out early. Him and Sammy, they're going to come out early. That's why they're getting good odds. And Seth is good at that too. And they're going to be there till basically towards the end. I think like the Final Four, again, if The Rock returns, it'd be like The Rock, Cody, and then you need some bad guys. So you'd have maybe Logan to be in there. And Seth hangs in there, of course. But it'll be interesting. You're not going to... KO is going to be in there pretty long, because if he loses his match, he's going to go into the Rumble. So it'll be interesting. Cena, he's not returning, I don't think. Edge might be in it, but he's not going to be like... They're not treating him like he's a threat. So, yeah, those are the guys I like. I would add The Rock to Brock and Logan. Now, for the women's, I still like Becky Lynch. The odds on Rhea are... I get the story. They're really pushing her now. And as a leader of like a faction, it makes sense. I could certainly see it. And she'd be going up against her against Bianca, something people have been wanting to see. So it makes sense from like all angles. I'm wondering if Becky, and I think Becky is going to win it. And I have two underdogs. So again, I'm not saying these are guaranteed. I have my eye on Bayley. She's from San Francisco, I believe. It might be San Diego or San Jose. I think it's San Francisco. But either way, she rocks the Warriors and the Niners. But I like Becky. They're kind of positioning her as the new Steve Austin, but like the female version. Kevin Owens like the male version. And I just think Becky has a good a good shot of winning it a second time. I think they might want to establish her. I can say for the here we go, the Iron Man. I think you see Cody and Sammy both tied. It's a tough one because Sammy's storyline is he's got to win it for the bloodline. If you're not familiar, basically he's got to win it for his faction. So there's all this pressure on him. So of course he's going to be in early, be in towards the very end, and then I think lose at the very end and then get basically kicked out. Whereas Cody has a story going too where it's him against the world. He's returning. It makes sense they make him come out like number 3 or something. So I expect Sammy, Cody, and Seth all to be in like the top 5. Knowing WWE, let's see how obvious they are. In the past, they would do something like have Cody come out first and Seth come out second. Or Kevin Owens go out first and Sammy come out second. Because they're in rivalries together, so it kind of like, oh, okay. So we'll see if something like that happens. And I think at some point we're going to have like a bloodline feud where you see like Cody, Kevin, McIntyre, Riddle, and then on the other end you're going to see Solo Sikoa, you're going to see Sammy, and you're going to probably see the Usos. I think they're going to do something like that as well. So you can kind of see what they do, but not to belabor it, I like Cody to win the Iron Man. I think he's going to last the longest and probably lose, and it's going to be a heartbreaker. You get the most eliminations, and that's an interesting one. Drew's going to do well. I went and Solo makes a lot of sense, actually. I had Brock as the Iron Man, or as the guy with the most eliminations. But just looking at it now, they did this with Roman Reigns just a couple of years ago. What happens is they want him to look really, really good. So what's going to happen is probably you're going to have him and Sammy in the ring at the same time. And Sammy and him are going to just tag team guys. And Solo's probably going to have like 9 eliminations. So to be honest, now I would choose Solo Sikoa. If you saw my old video, I went with Brock on the eliminations. That's fine. We're not going to. But I like Solo. And that's probably why they changed the odds. Because it makes sense now that I see the odds change. The Iron Woman Iron Woman, here is, I think it's going to be close. You see Bianca's getting plus 600. Why is that important? Well, it means they're showing that there's a good chance she's going to be in the match, which she would only be if she loses her title. And that's what I want to go into next. The Iron Woman's interesting. With these people, it's tougher because I don't know when they're going to come out. So I would stay away from this one. If I had to choose an Iron Woman for this match, I'd go with Liv Morgan. It seems obvious, but she is that role. She's like the Rocky, but she always loses. And then most eliminations is rough. That one I would take Rhea. I think she gets the most eliminations. She's the strongest, and they're trying to push her. So it'd be like her or Charlotte, but I'd go with Rhea. Now this one, the match. This one is the best odds. So I said before, this one I was tossed on, but I thought the odds were good for Alexa. They've moved a little in her favor. I really do like Alexa to win this match. I think she beats Bianca. A lot of times they keep the champ rolling in the WrestleMania. That way they have a good rivalry with whoever wins the Rumble. But I think they can pull it off by having Alexa and Becky or something of that nature. Alexa and Charlotte, whoever it might be. So I like Alexa. I waited, and now I got her. It was $375 when I just took her. So you could do what you want, but as I said, I do think that this one has the best payout. Bray Wyatt, LA Knight. I like Bray. I just don't like the odds, so I'm not playing it. And same with Reigns Owens. Also with Reigns Owens, I think they're going to do something interesting where Kevin Owens kept saying, "I'm taking that title. I'm taking that title." Well, there's 2 titles. They're fighting for 2 belts. So I'm wondering if they do some shenanigans where somehow Kevin Owens wins one of them. I don't know if they will, but it was weird he said that. But either way, with the disqualifications and the shenanigans, I'm staying away from this one. The odds aren't worth it. But I do like Alexa to win that match. So my picks are Alexa, like I said, The Rock. The problem is we don't know if The Rock's in it. I tried checking, and it indicated he's not. Because it kind of showed he's like at a Hollywood set. But they're very good. They do that on purpose. So WWE did show him. They teased him. they will do that and not come through. But at the same time, I do believe that there's a good chance he shows up. And just because I really don't think Cody's going to win it. I could be wrong. But I called all three of his wrestling matches against Seth. I had him winning all three. I actually had him losing the third, which he was supposed to. And then I'm like, nah. When he was so fucked up, I knew he was going to win. So we'll see what happens. But I do think that I like The Rock to win the Rumble. So now we have, I think that's my sushi order. If you guys are interested, I did get the dragon roll. So that's my Royal Rumble predictions, and I figured I would just throw them all together with these NBA picks. So I'm sure you guys won't mind. This one, it was like 3 o'clock. I put my video out like right when the game was going on, so I didn't want to. I think I was already late on the game, so there was no point. So Knicks Nets, and we got even odds. Well, I've been talking about the Knicks for a while now. I had them as a playoff team, and I had them at about 4 to 5 games above 500. Now, the Nets are missing a few stars. The question is, does the public still do they take the Nets without the stars? And do the Knicks just keep winning? I'm going to take the Knicks. I've been saying this for a while. I think they want to keep this division close. They did it with the AFC East. They did it with the NFC East. Why wouldn't they do it with basketball? This is proving that it's about markets. It's not a coincidence that all these teams are suddenly doing good. All the New York teams decided to do good. Boston and New England at the same time decided to do good. Even Pittsburgh had a winning record. I mean, it's just in our faces. Then you look at the NFC East. So my point is, I think they want the Celtics, Sixers, Knicks, and Nets all like above 45 wins. Where you're going to have like 2 of them get 50 wins. You're probably going to have 1 get 60, 2 get 50, and then 1 get 40 plus Knicks. And then the Raptors will finish in like the mid to high 30s. So they'll probably point how it's like one of the best divisions, just like they do with the AFC and NFC East. So for that reason, I'm going to go with the Knicks. I think that's a good narrative. And I think enough public will be on the Nets. Here we got Rockets, Pistons, Rockets. That's all I have to say. The reason I like the Rockets is simply because they're one of the worst teams in the NBA against the spread. And I don't know if it holds. Here we got the Bulls at Magic. Magic just upset the Heat. You can see they're good against the spread. They're at home here. No injuries. Not many injuries for the Bulls. Here's one of those where a lot of times you look at it, you think it's just a trap, but sometimes just the better team wins. So this one, believe it or not, these ones I'm always a little tossed on. But we are going to go with the Magic because I think 2.5 is just too light. Clippers, Hawks. I like the Hawks. I think, at home, they really want to establish Trey. You can see not great against the spread. And I think they want them looking better than a 9 seed. I think they need to be more of like a 7. I do have them personally as I think an 8 or 9 seed actually. But I still think, and that's just like a seeding that I did. And maybe they are. But I think they definitely finish ahead of the Pacers. I think they finish around the 7 seed. So we'll see. There are a bunch of good teams in the East. Like I said, if I have the Knicks finishing better. So if you have 4 teams, and honestly they could flip the Knicks, but if you have 4 teams in the Atlantic Division alone, that only leaves 3 more before you get to the play-in team. So the Hawks could be a play-in team again, but I still have them winning this game at 232. Watch that over-under, I'm telling you. They don't set the Masonic number on these over-unders for no reason. We should probably play that instead. But no, I'm going to go with the Hawks here. I think they win this game, and I think the public will be on the Clippers. Now we got Kings, Timberwolves. I've been saying this for a very long time, and the public might be on the Timberwolves. I get that, but I've been saying for a very long time. Then the Kings are going to start losing games. I have them out of the playoffs. So people said I was kind of loony for that prediction, but I do think teams like the Wolves, as they are, then you'll start seeing teams like the Thunder, Pacers, slowly flip the Kings. That's what I think happens. They're going to flip the Jazz if they haven't already. I know the Wolves have. But I'll take the Wolves, and I'll take all these are spreads, by the way, and all these are leg ones. But I'll take them at the 3 points, of course. And now we got the Wizards, Pelicans, and on this one, I do like the Wizards for the reason being, again, Zion's out, I get it, but so is Porzingis. That's a big injury. And I think the public's going to be all over the Pelicans here. And I do think that the Wizards, you see they can get to 23 23-3. They would also have 23 wins. That's a lot of 23s. And the Pelicans would stay on 23. So not that I'm a big number guy, but when I notice them kind of quickly, I do find it interesting. So, yeah, I'm not saying it's concrete, but I do like the Wizards here to cover this spread. Now we get to the Suns, Spurs. And on this one, I like the over again because, again, the Spurs are pretty abysmal against the over. Suns with Chris Paul, especially, known for playing a slower pace. No Booker. It just stands to reason that they're going to play, in my opinion. People are going to be picking the under in this game. I'm buying it to 230.5 because I just have a weird feeling when it's around 232. I will say, again, wait for the ESPN closing lines on these games because so often they change, and a couple of these are metrics. So by metrics, I mean I'm literally picking the against the spread because of their percentage against the spread. So I would definitely pick as close to the closing line as you can get. Now we get Lakers, Celtics. Celtics are 8.5-point favorites. And here the question becomes, do they, the Lakers, I think the public's going to be on the Lakers. You got the Lakers getting 8.5. People still think they're a good team. And the Celtics, they've been good, but they just lost to the Knicks. So I like the Lakers here to cover the 8.5. And this will probably be the time they blow out the Knicks. It's weird. It's on ABC. And the Celtics just lost to the Knicks on TV. And I noticed very often that a team will not lose 2 in a row. They'll always, if they're back-to-back on TV, they never have the same result twice. So it's weird. I'm getting conflicting ones on this one. Again, these are all leg ones, but it's interesting either way. But I'm still going to go with the Lakers to cover. I think, like I said, I think more people are going to be on the Lakers on the Celtics. And the only reason I'm conflicted a little bit is because of the back-to-back TV theory. So we'll see if that holds. But I'm going to go with the Lakers here to cover just because I think a lot of people, even though a lot of people will be on the Lakers, I'm just going to go with my theory, that the TV theory here. So you guys can do what you want. I'm very 50-50 on it. Only because at first glance, it looks like Celtics, right? Okay, 8.5 is a lot of points. But I'm telling you, every time I watch, and I just noticed the ABC at the top, every time I watch these primetime games, it seems like the team that does bad, they come back and hammer whoever they play the next game. So, it's going back and forth on me. So it's very interesting. I think more people will be on the Lakers, but the TV theory supports the Celtics. So again, I do these live, so that's the reason. Sometimes, even in live time, I'm let me reassess. So, taking all that into account, I know I said I like the Lakers. What we're going to do is we're going to go with the TV theory. We're going to take the Celtics. We're going to take them to cover. Okay? So, I'll say it again because I know it might be confusing. I'll even put it in the comments. We are 100% taking the Celtics to cover this game simply because at first glance, like I said, it looks great for the Lakers. I think a lot of people with 8.5 points, as bad as they've been. But at the same time, we do have it where I think public will be on them, like I said at the beginning. And I'm just going to stick with my TV theory. It might not always work out that way, but on this occasion I am. And since I noticed they're on ABC, we're going to go with the Celtics. So sorry that one took a second, but as I said, these are all live. So I'm not going to edit them. I want you guys to get the picks in time. So I'll just correct myself in live time. So yeah, I definitely like the Celtics to cover. And I think it's due to the TV theory. Now, here we have the Mavericks without Luka playing Utah. Here I do absolutely love the Mavericks. A, because they suck against the spread. B, because they're without Luka. And C, because of an extension of B. They actually seem to play better with Dinwiddie than Luka sometimes. So, and of course, Luka's at 33 points exactly. But I do think that people are going to fade them because people just think of Luka when they think of the Mavs. It's kind of like Giannis with the Bucks, but even worse. because they look at Chris Middleton and Drew. And even though I personally think Dinwiddie's better than Drew, people still don't look at Dinwiddie that way. So I love the Mavericks to cover this spread. I think they do. And then our final one, and this one's conflicting as well because so people are telling me the Raptors basically that they're giving up on the team, which I believe, but I also believe that they want to keep them in the contention as a play-in. That being said, the West, as I said in my last video, or my last basketball video, is way thicker. You're going to have about a 500 record, in my opinion, to make a play-in. So I'm going with the Blazers. They're a streaky team, and I think this is where they go on one of their winning streaks. So if you know my pick, beginning of the year, I have the Blazers making the playoffs and getting out of the first round and maybe the second. I had them making a run to, as far as the championship, believe it or not, the Western Conference Championship. But there is a team I like more. I went over that in my playoff prediction video, my finals prediction. But yeah, I like the Blazers here to cover. And we'll just run through these again, just in case sometimes in case I misspeak, whatever the reason may be. So Knicks, I like to cover. These are all leg ones, 1 unit. I like the Knicks to cover because I think more will be on the Nets, and I think they want to keep the division close. Rockets, Pistons, like the Rockets to cover. And again, we're going to get the ESPN spread or a half-point better, but just the ESPN spread's what I go for as close to closing as possible. Here, Magic, I like them to cover because I think it's a trap. Hawks, same kind of deal, and because of the narrative, I like the Hawks to cover. Here, I like the Timberwolves to cover because I think the Kings go on a little bit of a losing streak. Here, again, I like the Wizards to cover because of the same reason as the Blazers and Knicks and Wizards, or that this is the Wizards. Those are like the 3 teams, and the Thunder. Those are like the 4 teams at the beginning of the year that I saw making the playoffs that didn't last year. Then we got the Suns, Spurs. We're taking the over, as I said. We are definitely taking the Celtics. Just want to make that clear. Like I said, when I first looked at it, I did like the Lakers until I noticed ABC. And honestly, the public money had me Celtics. But, so yeah, I think more is actually, now that I look at it, there's not many reasons to even take the Lakers. So definitely like the Celtics. I do like the Mavs without Luka. I think the Mavs cover. And I like the Blazers. All leg ones. So we have a lot in play that's 10 and 11 with college. That's 21 plays today. And some of the college have finished. I haven't even checked, to be quite honest. We could be doing terrible right now. We could be doing amazing. So I just wanted to get this out there, and that way everyone can make their picks. You can see, oh crap, Knicks Nets started. I'm sorry, guys. So that one, if you want to get it on live, that's great because it's even. But if it moves, if it's too crazy, then you don't have to. But the rest will be able to play. But yeah, so the Knicks I like. That's a live one. So I don't even know what the score is. Let's see what the score is. Okay, so it just started here. So I mean, by the time if you see this like right away, you should be able to get it right around even odds. You might get some plus odds, and if you're 15, even 20 minutes, you should still be pretty close. I think they keep this game pretty close. So take care, everybody, and happy earnings.